Hey, it's Jason. So I am here with my 2003 Chevy Silverado. I bought this truck brand new in 2003. It's the 1500 work truck. It has 282,000 miles. And I went and I turned the key and I'm getting the airbag needs servicing light. I didn't really want to deal with this because it's an easy replacement in theory. Two sensors in the front. But I called a local shop and they were going to charge me literally like $700 to diagnose, buy the parts, and replace the sensors. The sensors are going to cost me about $230 using a discount at Napa. So I'm not going to pay another, $400, $350 to have somebody put them in. So I want to talk about what to do if you have the airbag maintenance service airbag indicator light on your car, specifically your 2003 Silverado. So let's hop in the truck and I'll show you what's happening. Okay, so I'm in the 03 Silverado, and when you go to start it, what you're seeing is that warning service airbag with the airbag light flashing. And usually this is a result of two things. The sensor is getting corroded in the front, or there could be a loose wire untowed under the seat where the ECU controls are. I went ahead and I did turn the passenger airbag off. I had that feature, it's a regular cab, just to make sure that didn't do anything. So let me go ahead and cut the car off, and I'm going to show you one thing to check before we actually get into sensor replacement. So on the passenger side of the vehicle, you're going to want to look under the passenger's seat. And on this seat, under the seat, you're going to see a little control box. And there's a black wire on one of them. So let me put the seat up. And you can see this control box in here. If you take this cover off, I'm told you're going to want to make sure that there's no loose connection in there, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So looking at this box, you're going to see a black wire. You can kind of see it as I twist this. That goes into this white plug, and I'm told sometimes that black wire, it's a sensor of somebody sitting in this seat, I think. Sometimes I'm told that can come loose. So you're just going to want to make sure everything on this box doesn't look corroded or look like it's deteriorating, or more importantly, making sure there's no wires, specifically that black wire in there, coming out. Okay, so let's talk about these impact sensors and where they're at to clear the message I just showed. If you can hear these cicadas, nothing I can do, man. It's cicada season in Maryland, and these things are making a ton of noise once every 17 years. But let's go over to the car, and I'm going to show you a few things. I went to Napa, and when I was at Napa, I purchased replacement impact sensors. They're going to mount just like that under the radiator, which you can access fairly easily. Gave me a chuckle, this little printout here. Refer to the appropriate shop manner for your vehicle. If you do not have a service manner or lack the skill to install the part, seek a qualified tech. I guess I'm qualified enough, right? So we're going to install these replacement impact sensors. You need two of them for the 2003 Chevy Silverado. Let me show you where they're at. Alright, so I have the Silverado up on ramps, but looking at the front of the 2003 Silverado, you're going to want to look in this little opening here. And if you look back there, you can see that sensor. So let me put my hand in here and try to point to it. I'll give you a better view. You can see that white label on there. That is the impact sensor that we're going to be fiddling with and trying to replace. So let me lift that up even a little bit more, all the way in there. So it's directly right back there, and you're going to need to remove this guy, this plastic. It looks like maybe they're 10 millimeter or so. It's hard to tell. I'll have to check. And when that drops down, it should give me access. So let me go ahead and get that removed. Alright, so let's go up underneath. And this plastic I'm going to want to remove because that's going to get me access to that. With that little orange handle right there. That is the impact sensor on this side. I've had this battery disconnected, so I don't have to worry about it inadvertently going off. And I'm just going to want to go ahead and remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 it looks like. I'm going to try to probably just remove the top ones and bend it down. But I'm going to make my life a little bit easier. And I'm just going to remove all of them. So just take your 15 millimeter, it was 15 millimeter socket wrench. Obviously, if you have a gun, you can do it. I'm just doing it by hand. And remove all of those specific bolts. Alright, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them undone. And now I'm doing the last one, the 5th one. So there was 3 up here on the front and 2 in the back. And then this plastic will just basically drop down. Now I'm holding it up with my hand because I don't want it to just clunk me in the face. Okay, there we go. Put that to the side. I got my 5 bolts. And now you can much better see what I'm going to be working with here, which is this guy and that guy. And it looks like it's just going to be a 10 millimeter maybe. I said that on the other one, I was wrong. But that's the impact sensor right there. So it's just hooked on the underside of the radiator. So I'm going to go ahead and unbolt that. Okay, so I got this out. And you just don't want to pull it down here. It's a really long screw that goes through that gets in it. But then you're going to want to unhook this plastic bit to actually remove the impact sensor. And then again, it just goes up in that screw right there, in that hole. Okay, and to get this out, what you're going to want to do is pull this little orange thing out. So I just pulled the orange out, right? And that hangs like a safety. And you're going to want to push the yellow underneath that black tab to pop it out. So now you can see how I have the orange out and this yellow lip out from under the black tab. I can pull it completely out. And now I have the old sensor in my hand. And looking at it, I mean, it doesn't look that messed up. But we'll go ahead and put the new one in, and then I got to go and do the other side. So one of the tips I have, as I was doing it with the socket wrench, when you back that screw out, this is going to get in the way. So I'm just using a stand or the wrench now, so that way I have more clearance to actually tighten it and loosen it. Whereas with the socket wrench, it was hitting the top, and I had a hard time once I loosened it to actually get this out. So just a little tip there, have both of those available. Okay, so I have the second one coming out, same process, 10 millimeter. You have the long screw that goes through, and then you're just going to want to pull the orange thing out, and then you're going to want to unclip everything. So it's not that hard of a task. Just be patient because it is a little bit tighter on the passenger side. So using the 10 millimeter wrench like this without a socket was much better. But there's a lot of turning because you can't get a full crank on it. So there's just a lot of turning that happens. Okay, so I have the other side installed. This is the passenger side of the radiator. So now I can go ahead and put back this plastic that mounted here and connect the battery and then hope everything works. Let me go ahead and get the plastic mounted back. Okay, and that's how it should look with the plastic mounted back on. There's 3 bolts in the front, 2 underneath. This is only wet because I sprayed a bunch of WD-40 on some of this stuff because it was giving me an issue getting in, and I was trying to get some of that rust off of it. So this isn't an oil leak or nothing. This is literally just me being a little excited with WD-40. So what I can do now is I can go back up top, I can put the battery back on, start the vehicle, and hope that replacing these impact sensors back here resolve my airbag issue. So let me get up top to the engine. Okay, so I have the battery hooked back up, and the good news is no more service airbag light. Everything is fixed. So what we've done here is we fixed the service airbag light on a 2003 Chevy Silverado, and the way we did that was replacing the impact sensors under the radiator on the front of the vehicle. And the impact sensors look just like this. They mount right under the radiator as I demonstrated on the car. An expensive little part that can cause the air when they go bad, and obviously if you get in an accident, this will compress and crush and signal the airbag to go off. So when you're doing this project, be 100% certain that you have the battery disconnected. I hope this video was helpful, and hopefully it will save you a whole lot of cash like it saved me. And if you buy this at Napa, use your AAA membership and get a 10% discount. Be sure to check out my blog, www.jams.net, for more DIY and adventures that I do on my car collection and beyond.